Hi, I'm Paul Edwards, author of the Mourner's Woods books. In a previous video, I described my number one rule for writing far-out fiction, which is your situation, your premise, can be as wild as you want, but your characters' reactions have to feel authentic and realistic. My second rule is similar to that. Your premise can be as far out as you want, but everything that develops from your premise being true has to feel logical and realistic and authentic. For example, let's suppose that you were going to write a book about the Loch Ness Monster. Now, I don't believe that the Loch Ness Monster is there, but if you're going to write a work of fiction that there is a Loch Ness Monster, I'm willing to grant you that premise. I'm willing to suspend disbelief and agree that there's a monster in Loch Ness. But if that's true, then certain other things have to be true. If there is a Loch Ness Monster, there has to be more than one, because it couldn't possibly have survived for centuries on end. There must be a whole school of them down there, a whole colony of them. And if there's a whole colony of them down there, what do they eat? If there's a whole colony of them down there, why has the corpse of one never washed ashore? And, things like that. You have to have an explanation for logical inferences that someone would draw from your premise. So following that rule, if your premise is true, what realistically would happen from it? I've noticed that in comic books, superhero stories, whenever somebody gets superpowers, they either become a superhero or a super criminal. Are those really the only two choices? It seems to me that if someone in the real world got superpowers, the first thing that would occur to them would be to make money off it, to maybe put on an exhibition or something like that, or hire themselves out. And I know there have been comics where that has happened, but I'm saying that is a more realistic thing. And then that doesn't mean your character can't end up being heroic or can't end up turning into a villain. That's fine. But those things also have to develop logically from your premise. So there's my number two rule for writing fantastic fiction, fantastic in the sense of far out. Your premise can be as wild as you want, go to town. But everything flowing from your premise has to be logically consistent, or your readers will notice, and they won't be around for your next book.